Myanmar's military junta has extended the detention of deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi. She was due to be released today, but will now remain in jail until February 17th. Protesters are once again on the streets demanding her release and an end to the coup that brought the junta to power 2 weeks ago. The military has intensified its crackdown on the protests, sending armored vehicles to patrol the streets and imposing an internet blackout. This after images were circulated online that showed the military firing on a crowd of protesters. It's unclear whether live ammunition was used. Let's bring in journalist Dave Grunebaum here. He's covered Myanmar extensively and joins us now from Kuala Lumpur. Good to see you again, Dave. Tell us, how's the situation in Myanmar right now? How volatile is it?
Yeah, I communicated with some people on the ground in Yangon this morning, and it's clearly things are very tense. There, as you said, armored vehicles on the streets, soldiers patrolling in fatigues. You've got police, you've got water cannon visible. People are certainly on edge. Now, there are reports that there are fewer demonstrators on the streets in Yangon now compared to previous days, but it's early afternoon there, so we'll see if those crowds pick up. One thing that has also created a lot of tension are these nighttime raids and arrests that are going on. The military has given itself sweeping powers. They can detain people without a court order. They can search property without a court order. Now, people have created these sort of neighborhood watch groups to try to keep an eye out for the police, to alert one another, to try to protect one another. But they tell me this is leading to just a lot of sleepless nights, so things are really tense. I think a really key thing to keep an eye on over these next few days is this government work stoppage that is going on. Basically, government employees who are refusing to go to work. If this continues, and if it continues to pick up momentum and get more and more government workers on board, it could make it difficult for the military to keep the government running. And if that happens in some key sectors, Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, the man who's basically put himself in charge of the whole country, may feel that he is backed into a corner. And then how does he respond then? That's the key thing we got to look out for now, that scenario.
Now, when this coup happened, the civilian leader, the de facto civilian leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, was arrested. She's still in detention. Her lawyers announced she will not appear in court today as expected. She's going to be kept in custody at least until Wednesday. Do we know what's happening with her?
Yeah, well, so basically, according to her lawyer, that happened because that's what a judge decided, the judge in Naypyitaw, the capital. Keep in mind, Myanmar does not have an independent judiciary. So as long as the military is running the country, they're going to find a way to keep her in detention for as long as they want to. That's just the bottom line, especially with those sweeping powers they've given themselves that I just described a minute ago.
Now, the military is also shutting down the internet whenever it suits them, severely disrupting communications. Now, some of that apparently has been restored, but social communications, social media platforms are still severely restricted. What does this mean for the protest movement in a country where Facebook is the de facto communication, main line of communication?
Yeah, so the bottom line is these demonstrators, they're finding ways to communicate with each other. Some of them have gotten virtual private networks to get around a shutdown. Some of them have been using SIM cards from other countries, such as Singapore and Thailand. I mean, if you look at the past days of demonstrations, there's a sign I saw numerous times that really stood out to me, and it said, "You've messed with the wrong generation." And what that basically says is that you've got technology today that they didn't have decades ago when the demonstrators protested the prior juntas, and that this is a smart, tech-savvy generation, and they're going to use that to their advantage. They do not want to live under military rule like their parents and grandparents used to.
Dave, thank you very much, as always. Journalist Dave Grunebaum there in Kuala Lumpur.